So that was in 2003. I used to get like 65 for many subjects like maths and everything, like 60. But when you look at my older result, I got A passes for 8 subjects. I got a B pass for Sinhala because I was a little weak in Sinhala, like especially when it came to literature and also grammar. Vyakaran, kind of a little weak in grammar, Sinhala grammar. And arts, I was the weakest in painting, drawing. When I drew a flower vase, it looked like a something like a clay pot. Yeah. So that is why I got only an S pass for that. I'm glad that I passed that subject. I was like deemed to fail that subject. But yeah, when I got an S pass for that, I was like, oh my God, thanks God, I don't have any like light poles or anything in my older result sheets. So 8 A's, 1 B's, and 1 B and 1 S. That's what I got. We had 10 subjects those days. Yeah, 2 optional subjects, 1 technical subject like commerce, like you guys are having. That's called the technical subject. Okay, like you can take commerce and everything for that. Right? Okay, that's how it works. All right, so today we are gonna discuss about a very important topic. That is the 2 rebellions that took place under the British rule. The first rebellion took place in 1818 and the second rebellion took place in 1848. You already know that we spoke about another rebellion which took place in 1797, but that was limited to the coastal areas because the British were only controlling the coastal areas back then. So that was a limited kind of a rebellion, more of a protest like a rebellion. But these are organized armed battles against the British government. Okay, so we will be talking about the reasons why such battles took place, how they took place, where they took place, who got involved in those battles, and how what results we got, or like whether it became a failure or a success, and what are the reasons for those, and also basically the results of those battles, what type of changes that took place after the battles as a result of those battles. Now these are the main areas that you need to focus when it comes to the 2 battles for independence. Okay, after those battles, like after 1848, there was no armed struggles. Okay, armed struggle means you take up arms, you go against the government, you basically you start a military campaign to defeat the government or to overthrow the government, basically to overthrow the government. Now here the rebels were our people, like the natives, the Sri Lankans. The government was the British government. So the battle took place between the Sri Lankan rebels, the native people, and the forces of the British government. And also some natives also supported the British government. So basically the British government had 2-3 parties supporting them, like a few of the locals as well. So let's talk about those things in detail. Before we get into the lesson, I told you that we like to share our experience and knowledge and everything, right, during this class, right? So this is not only about history, but it's about when you go out of this class, how much you know about your life, how much you know about our country, how much you know about what happened in the past, right? It's not only about the syllabus or anything like that. Okay, so each and every day, especially in our grade 11 class, we focus, because we are kind of, you might feel like we kind of relax these days. Yeah, because the revision class is coming up, all the recordings are being made, and the plan is going on pretty well. And I see a lot of feedback, a lot of students are talking to me personally, and I check their knowledge, I see that they're improving. So I'm a bit relieved these days, because I know you are doing well. Okay, especially when it comes to history. Okay, so I can see that my efforts are bearing fruit, that means giving results. So we are like kind of making a little fun making this a little fun, and we are learning, we are gaining some additional knowledge throughout our journey as well. So don't worry. We have a revision class coming up, cover everything and the model questions and everything, and also the syllabus is like, very easily we can cover this. Okay, so don't worry. So, and also we need to, I need to, if I didn't give you like something extra other than the syllabus, it's like I will feel bad, because end of the day, I'm 34 and I've got a lot of experience, right? I've been learning things for the past many years. So I will feel really bad if I didn't teach you some of those that I've been learning for the past many years, right? So because, we are going to talk about two battles here, right? Today's lesson is about two battles. One took place in 1818, the other one took place in 1848. Because of the battle, I want to take you to 1983. What happened in Sri Lanka in 1983? It's not part of your syllabus, but it's very important to learn this. Okay, if you go out there, if you don't know what happened in 1983, you are not worth yourself calling a Sri Lanka. Okay, so what do you think? What happened in 1983? Can anybody tell me what happened in 1983 in Sri Lanka? Yeah.
The arrival of British in Asia.
1983, Puta. 1983 is how many years ago? 38 years ago, right? Yeah.
So the LTT attack.
LTT attack. Black July, yeah. So something really, disappointing happened in Sri Lankan history that's considered as a black spot in our Sri Lankan history. Like if the Sri Lankan history is written in gold letters, as we call it in Sinhala, Rannakurin Liwela Tipunanam, Ape Lanka Ityase, like what the kings did in the past and how they saved the country, how they protected the country, how they basically died for the country, right? The warriors and everything. So this was a big black spot. Like it's like there's a pot of milk and you put some bullshit into it, right? Cow dung. Goma again? Yeah, cow dung again. Something into it. What will happen? The whole, Mulukiri Kalayam, the whole milk pot will get contaminated. Something like that happened, in 1983. So what happened was, actually, it also marked the beginning of a 26-year-old war. The war started and then, it ended only in 2009. So for 26 years, our country didn't have any significant developments, significant improvements. Where Singapore, where countries like Dubai, they got so developed in that period, and we were at the same place. This is one of the key points that you need to understand. Okay, so what happened in 1983 was, there were several, I'm not going to, I can talk about this topic for like 2 weeks without stopping. Okay, but I'm going to summarize it for you guys. What happened is, due to many problems, right? Many problems, many misunderstandings between communities, okay? Between the Sinhala community and the Tamil community, especially. Due to those misunderstandings, due to those disappointments, several armed groups started emerging from the Tamil community, okay? Like the LTTE, the TELO, EPDP, there were several Tamil rebel groups, emerging armed groups, okay, with weapons and everything, emerged within the Tamil community, okay? So they were demanding different things. Now, out of all those groups, LTTE was the most powerful group. They had a lot of manpower, they had a lot of support, especially locally and internationally also, right? They had a lot of support, so they managed to defeat other small groups and take control of this movement. What is the movement? It's a separatist movement. That means they wanted a part of our country. Okay, they wanted a big part of, basically a big part of our country. So they demanded that, okay, this is our area, this is our land, and give us this land, and we'll stop fighting. Until then, we are gonna fight. We are gonna kill your soldiers. You're gonna kill your people and everything, right? So this is basically a separatist movement, and they used terrorism in order to accomplish their goals. Now, terrorism is what? What is the meaning of terrorism? Anybody can tell me? Yeah, these days we are talking a lot about terrorism and everything, right? Especially, like the Easter attacks that took place in 2019. It's directly related to terrorism. It's a terrorist attack. Then, you were born in, most of you were born in 2005, right? Yeah, 2005 or 2004, some of you maybe. So, your relationship or your, like, let's say your experience with news and everything is a little less. So you might not hear this word much, but 2019 you heard this word again, and you experienced this personally. We saw it, right? After like 10 years, after stopping the war, after basically putting an end to the war. So we saw this, right? So terrorism means what? There's a small group, maybe 5 people, maybe 10 people, maybe 100 people, maybe 1,000 people, right? So terrorism is, now this group is demanding something, and they want to demand it. Now they can't, the group is small, right? The group doesn't have any kind of a big power, like it's not an army or anything like that. It's just a group. Maybe they're using arms, weapons and everything, yes, but these people will use a tactic to accomplish their goals. Like what? Killing innocent people by like surprise, or using surprise attacks, and also very brutal and cruel methods, like setting off bombs, planning suicide attacks, or like attacking government, like economic centers, like like the airports, like the ports, like oil storage facilities, electricity board, electricity facilities, electricity generating facilities. Those are like key places of a country that the economy hangs on, right? So they will try to attack those places, or they will plan attacks on those places, or crowded areas, like suicide attacks and everything. And they will try to intimidate or make people terrorized or scared. Now when the Easter attacks took place in 2019, the most recent experience, most of you might have stayed at home for like a week, or maybe 10 days, or maybe 20 days, because even I was at home, right? I was really scared to go out, because you don't know what will come next. Where will the next bomb go off? You don't know, right? You are scared. That is what the terrorists need. The terrorists want the people to stay at home. They want to disrupt the day-to-day activities. They want to bring the country's economy to a halt, and they want to demand their they want to accomplish their goals through demand, right? So this is what terrorism means. So LTT also became a terrorist group, designated as a terrorist group by many countries. And also their motive was a separatist motive, that is to divide the country into two. Okay, so they placed an ambush. They they planned an ambush on an army patrol, right, in 1983 in Jaffna. Okay, to be exact, there's a small city in Jaffna called Tirunelveli, not in India. There's another city in Tirunelveli. That area, the patrol was going in the night, and then Prabhakaran, the leader of the LTT terrorist group, who was killed in 2009, he himself, I think himself with his assistants and everything, like a group, they were waiting for that patrol to come, and they ambushed. That ambushing means come, you let them come and you attack them by surprise. Now 15 soldiers were traveling in that patrol. Patrol means, what's patrol? You go, right? In Sinhala you call it Murasanchara. You go, like sometimes you see police patrols, right? When you go out in the night, you see a vehicle is going, rounding here and they are roaming around. That's called patrol, to see if everything is okay, right? So that military patrol was just to see if the security is okay, if everything is okay. So they attacked it. 13 soldiers were killed. 13 soldiers were killed in that ambush. Okay, that's an ambush, right? So they sent the 13 soldiers' bodies to Colombo. Then the government, at that time, they took advantage of this situation, and they gave the green light. Basically, the government is also responsible totally. It's like, the people were really angry, but actually the people could have been angry at the terrorist group or the LTT, but instead people chose to, many people, I'm not saying all people, right? Some people, right? Some people, including gangsters, right? They chose to basically torture the ordinary Tamil people. Okay, like, you know, who had no idea about LTT, who had no connection with Prabhakaran, who basically were doing their own business in Colombo and everything, were attacked. Okay, that is why we call it, it's a big black mark in Sri Lankan history. Okay, that is why we call it the Black July, because, you know, so many people died because of those riots. So those riots took place for like several days, and, you know, as a result, many Tamil people from the south fled to the north. Basically, they were scared about their lives. They might be killed. So, you know, this could have been very well avoided. Okay, this situation could have been very well avoided. I think something around 3,000 to 4,000 Tamil people, you know, died because of the riots. Okay, their properties were set fire. They were killed in the middle of the road. They were burned inside tires. Okay, so we'll talk openly, right? There's nothing to hide here, because we know that. You just type in Google, you just search for this in YouTube, you see. So we accept that, right? We accept that there was a big mistake that happened on part of, you know, like, when it comes to, especially when it comes to the government and everything, big mistake, right? Big disappointment. So this could have been handled differently, right? I mean, Prabhakaran, I think he had only 20-25 people back then. You know, next day, okay, 13 army soldiers were killed, right? Next day, you send a very, you know, good, you dispatch a very good unit like the commandos or something, just, you know, try and hunt them down. This could have been done that way. But instead, you know, to gain political advantage and everything, some people used this like differently. And as a result, a very long war started, because, you know, once after this incident happened, many countries pointed their finger at Sri Lanka that you couldn't protect Tamil people, you couldn't protect ordinary Tamil people, right? This is what they basically pointed the finger at. Then some countries openly supported the LTT. Many, you know, money like from different countries started coming to the LTT. Many Tamil people also started supporting the LTT, because, you know, they were like what happened in the south was not acceptable. Yeah, so because of that, they grew they became powerful, like in terms of weapons and the people, you know, more soldiers joined them, and more fighters basically joined them, and then, you know, they became a very powerful terrorist group, right? Some people say that, you know, LTT was one of the most powerful terrorist group in the world. So we managed to defeat them in 2009. So, you know, today's lesson is about like experience, right? So last week we were talking about the battle between talent and experience. So today it's about experience. So at the beginning of the war, Sri Lankan army didn't have any idea about, you know, these tactics. Like, so they come, they attack, and they go into hiding. They sometimes attack a city. Sometimes they attack a you know, military post, so an army base. Sometimes they attack the airport or a port or oil storage facilities or electricity like generating facility, these things, right? So, you know, after a lot of ups and downs, you know, the military had a lot of victories as well as a lot of defeats. Okay, today we are talking only about the victories, because, you know, the final victory was won in 2009. That is why we are talking about the victory. A great victory was won, but we need to understand that for that great victory to be won, a lot of sacrifices were made and a lot of lessons were learned. From the lessons, they, like, the army learned, once they faced defeats, paved the way or built the foundation for them to build more experience, for them to gather more experience, and then come up with different solutions to defeat the LTTE. which took place in 2009. Now, nothing happened overnight. Okay, years and years of experience, both wins and defeats. Right, this is how basically we managed to achieve this. Okay, so there were a lot of ups and downs. We can talk about this for all day. We'll talk about this part by part. So next week, we'll talk a little more about this as well, right? So I personally believe that this should be included in your syllabus. If I made the syllabus, I will include a little bit about this in your syllabus. Many people don't like to openly talk these topics. People might misunderstand everything. No, if we spoke about this long time ago, this situation would have been totally avoided. Right? Okay, so this is what happened. So you are hiding everything, you're not talking openly, so sometimes misunderstandings happen, right? So that basically leads to misunderstandings. And because let's say I'm not telling anything about myself to you, so you don't know anything about me, I don't know anything about you, so it's not like we are suspicious. We are kind of suspicious at each other, right? Okay, you have this you have a poem written by who? Yasmin Gunaratna, right? About the Black July as big match. Okay. I'm getting stuck. Am I getting stuck still? I'm gonna stop my video then. Maybe streaming is a little tough these days because Dialog has a very good connection speed, I heard. Yeah. So we are going to talk about two more experiences that Sri Lankans faced, one in 1818 and one in 1848, right? So let's relate this. All right, try using SLT fiber. I'll try. Okay, getting an SLT. Yeah, I have a friend in SLT. I just spoke to him about it. We'll see. All right. Okay. I don't know for how long though, because all the people are getting fiber, and maybe that also will slow down. That's how things work here. All right. Okay. So we are here in 1815, right, where the British captured all of Sri Lanka. Okay, you remember the year, right? 1815, where the Udarata Givisuma or the upcountry treaty was signed between the aristocrats of Kandy and also the officers of the government, like the British government. Okay. After that, now there were several clauses in that agreement. Okay, let's talk about those things a little bit. There were several clauses. In an agreement, there are sentences, right? They are called clauses. Okay. There were several clauses in that agreement, like the British promising to uphold the traditions, uphold the values, protect Buddhism, protect the rights of the aristocrats and everything. Okay, there were several clauses. But once the British captured the country, they did not adhere to those clauses. They just simply ignored to those clauses. They went about doing what they basically wanted, right? So people's trust or people's recognition, or we can say that people's confidence on them started declining. Why? Because they were basically not the people our people thought to be. Like they stopped respecting the culture of the upcountry people. Especially they stopped, like they took some rights away from the aristocrats, right? They didn't support Buddhism, they didn't sponsor Buddhism. Instead, they sponsored missionary organizations to come from other countries and spread Catholicism in Sri Lanka. They supported that, but not Buddhism. So because of those things, and also people were so sad about losing a king. We had a king, okay, we had some freedom, now we don't have freedom. We had to ask from the British to do everything we want. Earlier we could have at least like if look, the king had problems, right? The king also had problems. Sri Vikramaditya Singha had many problems with the public. So that is why people stopped supporting him. That's different. I mean, but people were thinking like this could have been handled better, and these people are not going to give us any freedom. The British, right? We could have at least gone forward with the king, right? So regrets of losing the king and freedom, and those things actually started mounting. Okay, and also like different taxes, different economic policies started coming in, and those things also played a big part, towards the start of this battle. Okay, right? So people were basically struggling, right? So I have put 3 reasons here, guys, that you can remember. Reasons that led to the battle in 1818. They are the regret of the loss of the king and freedom, and attacks on upcountry aristocrats, emerging problems about religion and culture. Okay, now regret of the loss of the king and freedom, right? Read a little about this in the book, right? There's a bit of an explanation here in the book, but it's not very important. Okay, you can think and write it basically, right? And the second one is emergence of problems about religion and culture. The British soldiers especially didn't respect religion and culture, and there was no support from the government towards uplifting Buddhism. The third one is attacks on the upcountry aristocrats. Now a lot of rights, so a lot of powers enjoyed by the elites in upcountry were taken back by the British government, right? One of the main thing is like, the aristocrats could collect some taxes. Okay, they cancelled it. One of those taxes were called Khadvat or Khadvat Bad. Yeah, yes, both are correct, right? You can say Khadvat Bad. Yeah, so that's actually cancelled. Okay, so when that tax was cancelled, the aristocrats lost income. Okay, that is one thing. Now we should understand that people always stood by the aristocrats. People always supported their rulers in the sense their leaders. People considered aristocrats as their leaders, where whenever they have a problem, they go to them, the Nilames, the Muhandirams, and they go and they tell their problems. They get all the support needed. Muhandirams or Nilames, they used to go and talk with the higher authorities in the government in order to solve those problems. So when the aristocrats are attacked, when the aristocrats' rights are taken away, people also started getting disappointed, right? Because the aristocrats don't have power anymore. The British government is in power, right? Now the aristocrats can't solve their problems, can't solve the people's problems, because they don't have power, they don't have money now. Now Baddas, like taxes like Khadvat Bad is also cancelled, right? And also one of the main reasons was, normally it was tradition to appoint an aristocrat in the upcountry for transport affairs called Madihe Muhandira. Madihe means transport, Muhandira means the post. Okay, Madihe Muhandira. Now Madihe Muhandira is the one who was responsible in transport affairs in the upcountry. Okay, transport is, as you all know, transport is one of the main things, right? People all need this, whether it's for trade, or anything else, right? Transport is one of the key industries. Okay, right? Now the British, I told you that British didn't respect the tradition, culture, and everything. They didn't care about it. They did whatever they wanted. So they immediately replaced this Madiha Muhandiram with a Muslim officer called Haji Marika. Okay, Haji Marika. Now all of a sudden, no, this is not a problem about Muslims or Sinhalese here. This is a problem about, taking the rights of the traditional aristocrats away. Okay, right? So like I said, LTTE organization was a terrorist organization, right? And it doesn't mean that all Tamils are LTTE, right? It was not a problem between Tamils and Sinhalese in Sri Lanka. It was a problem between the Sri Lankans and terrorists. Oh, you have to look at it that way. Some people try to say that there was a problem between Tamils and Sinhala people in the past, in King Dutugamunu's era, because King Dutugamunu defeated Elara. Okay, no, it wasn't a problem between Tamils and Sinhala. Elara was an invader who came from India. The battle was between King Dutugamunu and King Elara, right? For power, basically political, right? King Dutugamunu wanted the country back because King Elara came from another country and invaded. So we shouldn't, paint it in a different way, telling that, the problem is between Sinhala and Tamil. No, there's nothing like that. Okay, so don't look at this one also the same way, right? Sinhala people or the aristocrats didn't get angry because the British brought a Muslim there, because it was a Muslim officer. They were angry because the aristocrats' power was taken away. Okay, so that is how your perspective. You look at things in a different perspective. Okay, you try to rationalize. You think with your logical mind. In 1983, people failed to think with a logical mind. They touched their heart but not their head. They thought with their heart, not their head. If they had thought with their head, there will be no war in Sri Lanka. There would have been no war in Sri Lanka, right? If they they had acted with restraint. Okay, this is a problem with the terrorist group, we can defeat them, fine. But they thought that, okay, Tamil people have to be responsible, and they killed Tamil people and problem got worse. Same like that. Okay, so let's relate all these modern day examples, everything, to what happened in the past. Now what is the thing we can learn? We are learning history. We are learning history with these books and everything. So many books, so many professors, so many lecturers everywhere, but nobody is learning anything from the past. That is why we are continuing to have problems everywhere, right? If you just learn for the sake of it, just because of the exam, just because you have to write the exam or do a research or whatever in the university, whatever it is. That is not why we learn history. Okay, we learn history to learn from the past, to add them to our experiences. So this problem was also like that. Okay, so Madihe Muhandiram was replaced with a Muslim officer at the discretion of the British, called Haji Marikal. People got really angry. That was actually the closest reason for this battle to take place in 1880. Okay, because the upcountry aristocrats were attacked. The British government started attacking the aristocrats in different ways. All right, so 1818 battle for freedom, actually this started from Uva Vellassa area. Now, Vellassa is today Monaragala, Badulla, Monaragala, those district, those area are called Uva Vellassa. Uva basically Badulla, Vellassa is Monaragala. Okay, so this is also called Uva Vellassa battle because it started from there. Okay, so let's talk about how this battle took place. Now we know that King Sri Vikram Rajasinghe was dethroned, sent back to Colombo, and then deported from the country to Vellore in India, where he died in 1832. Not important here, I'm just telling you, right? So he was deported. There was a tradition of the British, especially we have to understand that they never killed kings. Okay, because they knew that kings are basically the representatives of people. If you kill a king, people, you can never ever get the support of people. Right? They knew it. Okay, so as a policy, they never killed any king, or whoever claimed to be a king also was not killed. Okay, now a person named Doraisamy emerged from Vellassa area, claiming that he actually is a relative of King Sri Vikram Rajasinghe, so he is the next one, or the heir to the throne. Okay, he is the suitable one to take up the throne. So people started gathering around. People believed it. People started gathering around. Okay, look, you are our next king, and people started supporting it. Okay, let's defeat these the British for good, and let's attack them, right? So an organized movement was born. Okay. Then to curb this, the British tried sending different officers and everything, but nothing basically worked. Okay. Doraisamy was also helped by a regional leader called Kohukumbure Rateral. Now, Rateralas are basically regional ruler, very, very respected people. Rateralas are, they're also very good warriors and also very powerful people in those areas, right? So Kohukumbure Raterala started helping Doraisamy. He believed that Doraisamy is the next heir to the throne, so he started supporting him. So because of that, the British the British sent people like Douglas Wilson and different people to arrest Doraisamy, but that wasn't successful. They were all killed. Okay, they were all killed. Then the British, there was another Nilame called Kapetipola Nilame or Kapetipola Disawa. So the British summoned him. Okay, you come. Kapetipola Disawa was basically working for the British at that time. So the British said, look, there's a problem in Vellasa. Go and arrest Doraisamy and come take the army. Kapetipola went with the army. Then he met with Doraisamy. He realized that, look, Doraisamy is also like, Doraisamy is the heir to the throne. So I think we have a future. I think we can win this war. So let's send the English army back, and I am joining the rebels. So Kapetipola switched sides. Okay, Kapetipola Nilame switched sides, right? So he changed over to the rebels side. Now this was a big blow to the British. This was a big problem. My God, one of the senior officers, right, supporting us in our government, also a renowned warrior, very talented, very intelligent guy, went to Vellasa and switched sides, joined the rebels. It's a big problem now, right? He sent the army back and then he joined the rebels. Now, then the rebellion started. Okay, then the rebellion started, spread to other areas in the country, right? Several battles happened and everything. So now the rebellion, now even Doraisamy was declared king by the rebels. Okay, I have a question. Give me a second. Ahale Polakumari, yeah. Okay, that's also another sub story related to these things. Yeah, I mean, Ahalepola Kumari Hami, actually it relates to Sri Vikram Rajasinghe, okay, where she was killed. She was actually Ahalepola Nilames or Ahalepola Adhikaram's wife, right? That's different, right? It's not there in your syllabus. Yeah. Okay, so the rebellion started spreading in many places in the country. Now the British followed very, very cruel tactics or cruel methods to suppress this rebellion, including declaration of martial law. What's martial law? Have you heard of this word, martial law?
Curfew.
Curfew. Okay, curfew is this. Okay, martial law is this. Curfew is this, martial law is this. Got it? Yeah, I'm going to explain. Curfew means now you go out. What will happen to you if you go out during curfew? Nothing? Yeah, these days nothing.
Arrested?
Because, yes,
Arrest?
and be arrested. Yes, they will arrest you. But martial law means suspending of all these civil laws and bringing up the military law. That means the military can do anything they want. They want to kill somebody, no courts, nothing, no arresting, nothing. Shoot. So normally martial law is also interpreted as shoot at sight. Dututana veditaban. Curfew is dututana atanangudaganu. That means you see them, arrest them. Martial law is curfew is. Martial law means the military, basically the military is in control. Okay, no civil, no government, nothing in control. The military is in control. They can do whatever they want. You peep out of the window, they can shoot you, right? Okay, if they want. If they thought that you are a rebel, they shoot. So declaring martial law was a big step in curbing, or one of the cruel steps that the British followed in suppressing this battle. Because of that, they could, the military could kill many, many people. Basically, they say that, they killed everybody who were aged more than 18 years. Many, many, many. Like they decided to kill many above 18 years old. So only children, were remaining like that, because they thought that everybody is supporting the rebellion. Okay. So, and also they set fire to villages. They set fire to crops. Yeah, they set fire to all the paddy fields and everything. Because of that, the rebels started like facing shortages, no food, no weapons, no ammunition. Now then the British started, like with the martial law and everything, suppressing the battle. But the British army also suffered casualties. With a lot of effort, they managed to somehow like suppress the rebellion. And also they arrested leaders like Doraisamy, Kapetipola, and everyone, right? Raterala. Yeah, they arrested many leaders. Some of them had to sacrifice their lives. Doraisamy was sent to, Doraisamy was arrested and whipped. Whipped means kasabara, whipped, and I think he was sent to Malaysia or Seychelles. One of those stories. It's not there in the syllabus anyway. So just check it out. Because their policy was not to kill. Doraisamy was declared leader, but Kapetipola Disave was killed. Raterala was killed. Ahlepola Adhikaram also. Ahlepola Adhikaram was deported to another country. I think Mauritius. Mauritius. Yeah, Mauritius is a country like towards the south in the Indian Ocean. Okay, he died there, right? So many leaders of the battle were killed, like Kapetipola Disave faced death very bravely. Okay, he was never scared, right? So looking at that, a British doctor was present at that time. I think he was a doctor. So he decided to ask for his head, and he took Kapetipola Disave's head to England. And then we recently only got it back, right? Because he wanted to do some experiments with that head, because he had never seen a guy who faced death bravely like that, right? So this is what happened after the battle. Okay. So let's talk about the reasons for the failure. Why did the battle fail? A heavy retaliation by the British, including imposing of martial law. Okay, you have to remember these things very carefully. Okay, it can be a question in your O levels, right? Like a 6 marks question. This briefly explain or describe with 3 reasons for the failure of the Battle of 1818, like that. Okay, so heavy retaliation launched by the British, including the imposing of martial law, was one of the main reasons that the rebels lost the battle. Shortage of supplies like arms, ammunition, and food also. Okay, on add food here, you guys, when you take a printout, you add it. Okay, disorganized nature. Now this is one of the main reasons. Disorganized, because we didn't have like smartphones or walkie-talkies, anything like that those days. It was all disorganized. Like, let's say, Kurunagala, the rebels in Kurunagala doesn't have contact with the rebels in Monaragala or Matale or Kandy or wherever, right? Why? Because it's too far. It's not easy to send messages. But the British army is everywhere, and also the messages take several days maybe to reach, several hours, several days, right? So disorganized. As a result, the battle is kind of disorganized. Okay, let's say now organized means you talk with each other, make a plan, and let's say attack together. Okay, we attack, let's say the rebels are telling we attack Badulla, we attack Monaragal, we attack Kandy, we attack Colombo, we attack Kurunagal at the same time. But because it was disorganized, people like everywhere started acting on their own, and it was easy for the British army to control the situation, right? And then the British government also started spreading a news that Doraisamy is a fraud. It's a fake guy. He didn't have any connection to the previous king, who was King Sri Vikramaraja Singh. And as a result, when they hear these news, they are called propaganda. Okay, propaganda news. The rebels got demotivated. They gave up their arms. Some of them surrendered, and some of them ran away. And this is what happened. Okay, so the results of this battle, leaders like Kapetipola, Madugalle Disava, Ahlepola Adhikaram, they were all had to sacrifice. Some of them had to die, or some of them were killed by execution. Some of them were deported from the country. Okay, and also, guys, one of the main things like Molligoda and Eknaligoda, those Dizaves didn't take part in the battle. They were kind of like supporting the British, or maybe neutral, not neither support no like with the rebels, like that. So because of that, some of the aristocrats didn't support the battle, so that is also one reason. Okay, so they were giving information to the British about the roads and everything in the country, so the British army could easily reach those villages and suppress the battle, right? That's one of the main reasons. Okay, so those are the results of the battle, and those officers or those Nilames who supported the British government without taking part in the battle were rewarded, were given with more positions in the government, higher positions in the government. Okay. Yeah, Mauritius Island. Yeah, Ahalepola Adhikaram died in Mauritius Island. Ahalepola Adhikaram, he died in Mauritius. Doraisamy was exiled to, I think, Malaysia. Just Google and see. It's not there in the syllabus.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Any questions from this?
Sir,
Please ask now. Yeah.
sir, is Doraisamy the real one who was descended from King Sri Vikramaraj Singha?
There's no proof on that. There was no proof, but we don't know. So far, I don't know. Those who are like researching about history might have found something, but we have to see. We have to wait and see. I couldn't find anything related to his ancestry. I also did my research, but I couldn't find anything. But maybe, there's a lot of research going on, right? In universities, scholars, professors, there are history professors and all. They might be researching, but I didn't come across any latest research about. Maybe he was a fake guy, like the British claimed. Maybe not. Anyway, that's not important because we lost the battle. Yeah. We lost the battle. If we had won the battle, it's important because maybe he's a fraud. Maybe he's okay. We can talk a lot about him, right? Since we lost the battle, there's no point maybe tracing that. So that's why nobody traced it. Why couldn't they appoint a new king among themselves? I didn't get your point, Putha. Can you just try saying that again, please? Themselves means who? The rebels? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Doraisamy was the king. Like when Doraisamy came and claimed that, okay, look, I am a descendant of Sri Vikramaraj Singha, I am a relative of Sri Vikramaraj Singha. Maybe yes, maybe no, people believed him. So people made him the king unofficially, right? I mean, king. So the British got really scared. The British government got scared. Okay, look, there's another king, and so that is why they decided to use their full
Sir, you are muted.
to suppress. Am I muted? No.
No, sir.
All right. Putha, I think you have a connection problem. Can you relog in, please? I think you got a connection problem, so you might not hear what I'm saying. Is it because of the video? So that's how the first, attempt to end the British occupation or like overthrow the British government ended. Okay, it ended with a failure, right? One of the main reason is disorganized nature. Disorganized nature can also be called as lack of coordination. There's no coordination, right? There's no coordination.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. I'm open for questions on this part, okay? Because we are going to discuss past papers after we discuss 1848 battle, okay? Right. Yeah.
Sir, did British only imposed martial law in order to suppress the rebellion?
Of course, yes, they imposed martial law because they wanted to suppress the rebellion, not for anything
So
else. Okay? Yeah.
So I asked that, is that the only way they suppress the rebellion?
That is one of the main ways that they suppress the rebellion. One of the main steps that they took to suppress the rebellion. Okay, they gave the country to the military. That is called martial law. They suspended the normal law, where you go and, let's say, arrest people, produce them in courts, and no. Instead, the normal law is, the civil law is suspended, and the military law, basically they handed over the country to the military, telling that, that is called martial law. Okay, telling that you do whatever it takes to suppress this rebellion. They basically handed over the country to the military. The military is in control, so they can do whatever they want. So they decided to kill everybody they wanted. Whoever they suspected to be rebels, they took them and killed them, executed them. They set fire to villages. They set fire to crops. That is how they suppress this. And also, we also had our weaknesses, like what? Disorganized nature of the battle, right? Like that. Okay, we also had our weaknesses. Okay, and also the British also, like, spread news telling that Doraisamy is a fake guy, right? Then some of the rebels got demotivated, right? Got it?
Yes, so thank you.
Yeah, the disorganized nature of the battle. Yeah, that is our shortfall, right? I mean, the rebels side, we were the rebels, right? So that is our problem. Okay, that is not the British problem. Disorganized nature is our problem, our shortcoming. Okay, even, like, there were some problems between leaders as well, disputes. We learned about it when we were talking about the downfall of Polonnaruwa kingdom. If you have internal conflicts, nothing will become successful. Okay, yeah. So Cappeti Polo, and they had some problems, right, internally. That also was a reason, disagreements, right? Maybe because, like, the fake news spread by the British. Yeah. I believe all over the country, martial law was imposed, all over the areas where the rebellion spread. Yeah. So they can control the situation very easily. Like, they can do whatever they wanted. No need to look for approvals. Okay. No need to wait for approvals or anything. They just did whatever they wanted to control the situation. Got it? Yeah. Any other questions from this part? Because it's very important, guys, that you are fully ready to answer questions from 1818 Battle for Freedom. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. I suggest you stick to the syllabus. Sometimes you go out there and look for something in Wikipedia. They might be correct or they might not be incorrect. They might not be correct as well. Okay. Normally 90% of the time Wikipedia is okay, but there are certain information, like, added by normal people to Wikipedia, which will take some time,
But
to
sir, in
verify.
Wikipedia,
Yeah.
sir, we can edit, no, sir.
Yeah,
Like
that's the
we
problem.
can write
That is what I'm saying.
right
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. But
Then
normally
it will be
normally, you can edit, but you have to give a reference, proper reference. Okay. If there's no proper reference, you have to give a web link or something. So what you are editing has a link to it, like, original content, like authentic. That's called authentic. Okay. You can believe in that. But if you try to edit without giving reference, just try to do that and see, you will get a mail called that's cleaned up. Right? Normally there are, automatic softwares that will normally clean up those type of contents. You can't go and change, everything, right? Okay. So normally, let's here I suggest you guys stick to the syllabus, because no need to do any additional reading, because you are not researching about history or anything, right? So the book, apart from having small mistakes like Fan Angel Beck or something, Yeah. Most of the time the book is 98% it's okay, right? You know, Siddhi Lebbe was born in, it says Egypt, or he came from the Middle East. That's also wrong. Okay, lesson number 3, right? He's a Sri Lanka. Siddhi Lebbe was not born in the Middle East, right? Those type of mistakes are there in the book. We'll be focusing on that. Okay, don't worry, right? So let's stick to the book. Okay, whatever will come in your exam will come from the book, 99%. Don't worry. Okay, all right.
Sir,
So, yeah.
does the exam ask about those? If they ask a question like that, if we give the correct answer, would they give wrong? Because
No, you
on the-
stick to the correct answer. No, you stick to the correct answer. Okay. You stick to the correct. That's a big question. That's a big problem faced. You know, this book is written by the Educational Publications Department. Am I correct? Yeah. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
In Sinhala, we call it Adhyapana Prakashana Department. Okay. Your paper, your O-level paper is made by NETS, or Department of Examinations, National Evaluation and Testing Service, DONETS, DOENETS. They don't have a direct connection with these people, okay? But they take this as a reference. They will take this as reference, but they will not call who wrote these content and ask what should we include in this time's exam. They are working on their own. They are independent. They are independent. Okay, that is a problem. Lack of coordination also happens as a result. Okay, that is why we see some questions, made by Department of Examinations have theory from grade 7. Okay, it's not supposed to be like that, right? But they, you know how things in this country works, right? If somebody commits a mistake, they will say that no, we didn't do that because they did that only. This happened. Passing the ball, pass karna, no, we did it properly, but they are the people who did a mistake like this. That is why it happened, right? But we will stick, whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter, whether you get a mark or not. Always let's stick to the right thing. Okay, so don't worry about it, right? You can even challenge it later, right? One student challenged that she got 9 A passes and 1 B pass. She challenged, she fought for her rights. She got a B pass for English. She was really good in English. She never trusted her results. She fought with her mom for 10 years in courts. Finally, she got the A pass, right? So believe in that. I'm not saying to wait for 10 years to get your result. I'm not saying that, but I mean, yeah, don't worry about doing the right thing. Okay, that's it. All right. 1818 Battle for Freedom. Okay. Now, can you all see my whiteboard, guys?
Yes, sir.
This is your house, okay? All right. Who are there? Father, mother, your siblings, everybody is here, right? Okay, let's say the income of your house is, for example, okay, 50,000 rupees a month. Let's say your father is earning 50,000 rupees a month, okay? Now the expenses of your house, let's say it's 70,000 a month with school fees, tuition fees, clothes, data reloads, electricity bill, which is like double now, right? Everything, it's like 70,000 or 60,000 or whatever, right? You just an example, no? Yeah. Okay. What are you supposed to do? What is your father supposed to do now? Tell me. Yeah.
Take
Go
a
for
loan.
a job which pays more.
Okay. All right. He's got that option. Okay. That means earn more money, like you said. Okay. Do something so that he can earn 70,000. Right. Okay. Can he do that today or tomorrow? Short term. Can you do that immediately? You thought, I need a new job. Okay. You go and easy, right? Easily said and done, right? Easy to say. Okay. Difficult to do. Right. Okay.
Taking a loan.
Temporary solution.
Taking a loan.
He can take a loan, he can borrow some money, maybe from his brother, maybe his friend. Yeah. Okay, I'm running short this month. I had to pay my child's school fees, so I'll manage this somehow. So give me $20,000, right? Okay. Let's say he's asking money from his friend. His friend will say that, okay, all right, I will give you this month, but please, but I'm also in trouble, right? My kids are also going to school. Even I'm earning a 50,000, right? My expenses are also like 60,000, but I'm taking it from the bank, from my savings, and my savings are going zero now, right? And then I can give you now, but maybe not in future. He would say that, right? I mean, temporary solution. Okay. All right. There's another solution. What is it? Yeah. Who can tell me? Come on, logical thinking, guys. You guys are learning maths and science, no?
making the expenses low.
Bringing down the expenses. Yeah, that's also possible, right? He'd say that light to come off karanna me avashya light vitarak dan, right? Bring down the electricity bill, right? He'd say that, right? Okay, we used to go out, like let's say Pizza Hut, McDonald's, once a month or like twice a month. We'll reduce it to once a month. We'll bring down that. We are eating chicken 3 days a week. Let's make it 1 or 2 days. Let's manage with whatever we have. Like that, he can bring the expenses down, right? Okay. So these are some of the methods that he can do to either increase his revenue, increase his income, or bring the expenses down, or temporarily manage the solution like taking a loan or something like that. You understand how this thing works? So that is how the economy in your house works. It is the same way that the economy in any country or government also works. The same concept. Only the number of people are different. Like father becomes the governor or the president, right? Your mother becomes what? The minister, maybe. Yeah. You are who? You are who then? You are general public, right? Always complaining, right? Yeah. Always complaining. Can you please, ask? Yeah. Like that, you're going to the minister, right? Your mother and complaining, right? Yeah, you're complaining, right? You're like the general public. Okay. So say, like let's say your father made a very strict decision. Okay, he has to bring down the income, he has to bring down the expenses. So he's telling you that let's say, for example, now you are staying awake until 12 o'clock every day. He is telling you the high light of current, right? It's a big hit, right? It's a big slap on your face, right? Now you are going and you are kind of complaining to your mom, right? It's like that. Okay, general public, you are going and complaining, or you're protesting. Sometimes get into arguments, right? So that's how it is. Okay, that's the same way even a country works. All right. Now after 1815, after the British government took control of the country, okay, it was not the policy of the main government in Britain to give money so that they can run their colonies. No. Each and every colony was appointed with a governor. The governor has to manage that colony. Let's say like the father in your house. The income, expenses, everything has to be managed by the governor. Okay. If he doesn't get enough income to run the country, now why do you need money to run the country? You need to pay salaries of the officers, right? You need to build roads, maintain roads. Different things are there. You need to make sure everything functions smoothly, like trade and everything. You need to maintain relationships with other countries. You have a lot of expenses involved when running a government. Okay. Now what happened in Sri Lanka was, now the income generated from Sri Lanka was not enough to run the government. That means expenses were higher than the income, like to pay the military salaries and to pay the government officers with salaries. Everything was like more than the income. So then the governor went to the crown or the king in Britain and asked for some money. Then the king said, look, this is not our policy, but I will bail you out this time. But you have to find a proper solution to this. So with that in mind, now all the colonies, actually all the colonies, like we know that Malaysia was a colony, Australia was a colony, India was a colony, Sri Lanka was a colony, Oman was a colony. There were many colonies around the world for the British, right? The main government. All those colonies had governors. So there was a secretary to take control of all those governors, basically, who was like called the colonial secretary. Okay. Basically, he is the one who's dealing with all those governors. He is the connection. He is the connection between those governors and the, the king or the queen. Okay, like your mother, right? Like she's the connection between you and your father, right? You go and ask your father. Some might go and directly ask your fathers, but some like going like this, right? Yeah, telling your mother first, then what the white panduak done, right? Like in cricket. Okay, so like that. Okay, some governors used to like directly get help from the British Crown. Some governors used to call the colonial secretary and tell their grievances. Yeah, problem, I don't have enough money, like that. Okay, then the secretary, then the colonial secretary and everybody decided to appoint a commission to look into this matter. There's a big problem happening in Sri Lanka. We can't give up the colony. We need that colony. How to maintain this? So how to basically like match the income with the expenses so that they don't have to ask money from us. This is what the British government thought. So they appointed a committee headed by Colebrook and Cameron. Okay, Colebrook and Cameron. Cameron joined later. Cameron is another name. There are two people, okay, which is called the Colebrook Commission. Colebrook was the head of the commission, so that is why we call it the Colebrook Commission. In some places, you might see this as Colebrook Cameron Commission. Okay, right? So their duty was to come up with suggestions to come to Sri Lanka, study about the economy, study about the lifestyle, study about the country, and come up with some unique ideas so that we can generate more income, because there's no enough income like this, right? There's a problem, mismatch between the income and the expenses. Now, as a result, Colebrook came to Sri Lanka in 1829, studied for several years about how this thing works and what can be done to improve the situation, and wrote a report, which is also called the Colebrook Cameron Reforms. Reforms are basically changes. So he proposed many changes to the economic system in the country. Some of the changes were aimed at reducing the expenses. Some of the changes were aimed at increasing the income. Cameron was basically responsible in, the law related changes. So he provided recommendations to kind of, reform the law and everything, bring about some law that can be practiced easily with, limited resources. So low cost, right? Low expenses. You got it? So this happened in 1833, guys. We'll be talking about this in detail later, in a later chapter. But I'm taking a start now because, it's very easy for you guys. Then you know the background of this, and it will be very easy when we go on to that chapter. Okay. So in 1833, they brought up many changes. They introduced many changes. Okay. One of the main change that they proposed was implemented in 1840. Okay. Remember the year 1840. Okay. Now, this was in line with the Colebrook reforms that was proposed to change the policy of selling lands in the country. Okay. Now, let's say the government, one of the main methods that the government can increase their income is to introduce cash crops like coffee, cinchona, cocoa. Later came tea and those things. You can grow them as much as you can export them as much as you can, and you can earn more money. So that is one solution Colebrook gave. Okay, so for that you need lands. So who own the lands? People own the lands. The government also owns some lands. They already sold them. Either they are being already cultivated or they sold them and the businessmen are cultivating. Now there's no enough land. So the government needed more land. So with that in mind, the government introduced an act or a law called the Barren Land Act or the Land Act. It can, you can see this as in different names. Land Act of 1840. Okay, Land Act of 1840. Now we are setting up the stage. Now we are basically setting up the stage for 1848 battle. Okay, so we are talking about what happened between 1818 and 1848 here, which led to the next battle for independence in 1848. Remember the connection, guys. Always when I'm talking like this, okay, we are setting up the stage, we are building the foundation, and we are coming to something, right? So we are just setting up the background, and then we are going to the topic, right? So this is all like preparation for the battle. Okay, right. So the Land Act of 1840 or the Barren Land Act of 1840 said that whoever owns any uncultivated land, or if some people cannot prove their ownership of the land, like with a deed, with a document, will be taken by the government. Okay, nothing, no money, nothing given, will be seized by the government. Okay, let's say, for example, now most of the people in this country didn't have deeds. Basically, they enjoyed their lands for generations. Okay, now let's say I have a land, I am a farmer, I have a land, that land was given by my father. So when he died, he said, you take this land, it's yours. Okay, like that. So it was his father, or my grandfather gave it to him. My grandfather, maybe great grandfather, or his grandfather gave it to him. That's how it is. There's all word of mouth, no documents, nothing. This is how people used to own lands. Okay, all of a sudden they are telling that you should be able to prove the land's ownership for 30 years. Otherwise, this will be taken by the government. People were helpless. People couldn't do anything. People were helpless. And as a result, the British government took over many lands, sold them at cheaper rates to both foreigners and local businessmen to engage in estate cultivation. Okay, for commercial cultivations. Commercial cultivation means to make money. Got it? So this is one of the main reasons that led for the disappointment of the general public in the country, which is also one of the main reasons for the 1848 battle to take place. Okay, so this is one of the stepping stones, I'd say, that actually triggered the campaign for a battle in 1848. Got it? Any questions up to that? No? All right. So look at this, a new tax policy of the government. Now the government, brought many new taxes, introduced many new taxes. Some of those taxes are like dog tax. You own a dog, you have to pay tax, right? Some of them are like body tax, tax on body. You have to work for 6 days building roads. If you can't work, you have to pay a big tax, body tax. One of the main thing was gun tax. These villages, these farmers, everybody, most of the time they own guns because to chase wild animals and everything. A tax was imposed called the gun tax. Actually, sometimes the tax was more than the price of the gun. Right? People were helpless as a result. Shop tax, cart and catamaran tax. You have a cart, you have to pay tax. Catamaran means catamaran, right? No? Water boats, like water carts. They are called catamaran. Okay, water carts, like two boats with a platform where you load the goods and take from this side of the river bank to the other side of the river bank. Those are called catamarans. Okay, so cart and catamaran tax. Many taxes like that were introduced. That is the closest reason for the 1848 battle for independence to take place. Okay, so I have actually, guys, we'll go for a small activity now. I have given you space here, so I want to see you guys how you gonna write it. But if you have taken the printouts of this tute, you can write it on the tute. If you have not taken the printouts, no problem, write it in your book. Okay, let's take 10 minutes and write this, right? So I want you guys to write these 3 in your own words. Okay, so before that, let's I will roughly introduce this one. See, I have given you actually help. Okay, I given you help here. I have given you clues here. These are clues. Okay, right? So using those clues, you can construct sentences. I made it really easy for you guys. Okay, because I want to see some perfect answers here. So you will go to the exam, you'll remember all these things. Then discontinuation of Gam Sabha. Gam Sabha were like, you know, village courts. They had some certain amount of power, legal power, call it judiciary power, to solve small cases and everything. And also the villagers basically were following a rostered duty method, duty labor. That means all the villagers have to work for a certain amount of days maintaining tanks and building roads and everything within the village. Now this was cancelled. When Gam Sabhas were cancelled, all these problems came up, right? I mean, the Gam Sabhas, you know, you put, even for a small reason, you have to go to the courts. You have to spend lawyer fees. Most of the court proceedings were done by English. People didn't understand the language. People had to hire interpreters, like translators. This was like, you know, a whole mess. You can imagine, right? Yeah. And also the, you know, these are all these happened as a result of Colebrook reforms. Okay, stick to the topic here, right? So these are all Colebrook reforms, and also which basically led to the battle of 1848. Okay, right? See, reasons that led to the battle of 1848, effects of Colebrook reforms. We are talking about those effects in detail here. And new tax policy of the government. Okay, those are the 2 main reasons. The closest reason, the main reason is this, but this is what basically paved the way. Okay, so for this struggle to take place, right? Look at this, guys. New judiciary system, courts, lawyers charge, and because of the new rule, new judicial, new legal system, people had to pay for courts, lawyers charges, stamp fees, you know, stamp fees, right? You sign an agreement, you have to pay a stamp. Even today it's there, right? Okay. Then another reason is distancing relationship. Now Colebrook said that you should cultivate, you know, as much as you can. So as a result, the government said even the civil servants, like senior officers in the government, they can also cultivate, they can also do business. So what the government officers did was they stopped doing their job, started engaging in cultivation, because you can make money, right? Yeah. So because of that, the whole administrative system became very ineffective. Okay. So you can take help from the book, no problem. Will take like 10 minutes. Write this and please send me, guys. Right? I have only received a few map marking assignments. If you guys can mark the maps, all the rivers and all the tanks, send me like by next week. Okay. Right. Let's go to this now.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what were the common people did not have 2 things, right? In order to prove that this was their land, that was one was that their deeds. Was the other one?
The other one was like uncultivated lands, like barren lands. Okay. Let's say,
Okay, sir.
if you mainly if you have not cultivated a land, if you cannot, you know, you are telling that it's yours, but you didn't cultivate because maybe you don't have labor or something like that, right? Or you chose not to, but you need to show proof that you own that land. If you fail to show proof that you are owning that land for 30 years, no questions asked, that will be seized by the government. Okay, it's government property from there onwards. If you can show proof, they will give it to you, like they will not take it back. Right? If you cannot show proof, you know how these things works, right? I mean, I told you, all these lands are basically coming from generations, or maybe the king gave those lands to those people, right? So all of those lands were taken by the government. Okay, that is one of the main reasons that people were really disappointed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I want you to go to page number 37 and 38. Okay. Now I broke this into two parts, right? See over here. See, I told you that there are mistakes in the book, right? The book is also kind of disorganized in some places, right? Disorganized. See here, causes of the battle. Okay, under causes of the battle, see, there were two major factors that led to the 1848 struggle. Okay, those are effects of the Colebrook reforms, one, and two is the new tax policy of the government. There are two reasons. Okay, now under effects of Colebrook reforms, okay, under effects of Colebrook reforms, see, they have put this bullet point. Can you see this design here? Bullet point. Okay, so under effects of Colebrook, in my tute I have put all these. Yes, under effect 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay, fine. It's another bullet point. But here, the new tax policy of the government also, they had put in another bullet point. Okay, this is actually another point. Okay, it's actually another reason, right? This is actually the closest reason. All of these came as a result of Colebrook reforms, but let's say now new tax policy was a little different. If the new tax policy came as a result of the Colebrook reform, this would have been introduced in very early, like 1833 itself, 34 itself, right? This took some time, right? That is the reason. Okay, see, this took this tax reforms were introduced in 1848. That is the closest reason for the battle to take place. Okay, because there was this guy called Lord Torrington. Lord Torrington. Lord in Sinhala is called Sami. Torrington Sami. Torrington Sami again. Yeah. So Lord Torrington was a governor who actually decided to impose new taxes in 1848. Different taxes, gun tax, body tax, shop tax, that tax, this tax, everything. Right. Then people were really upset. People were disappointed. They decided to take weapons in their hands and throw the government away. Right. This is what happened. Okay. So let's write this and get back to the basics. Let's continue from there. Okay. Any other questions? Let's say a typical question from this would be explain with regards to three factors that the effects of Colebrook reforms in 1833 became a reason towards the battle in 1848. So you have 4 here. You have to remember at least 3 of them. Okay, at least 3 of them, right? Or the question could be explain with 2 reasons, or explain 2 reasons that led to the 1848 battle. Then this one, these 2 reasons. If you have to explain with 3 factors about Colebrook reforms that led to the battle in 1848, these 3 of these. Okay, yeah, remember the relationship there. How is it going, everyone? Anyone need any help? Please let me know. Okay. Otherwise, take your time. It's okay. You can have a 5 minutes extra if you want. But make sure you complete this and send it to me. Okay. I want to see your writing skills. I want to see how you're writing your answers. Right. I can give you help individually. Okay. I don't mind recording a voice clip and sending you with feedback on what changes you should make. Okay. We actually, in the last part of this lesson, this part is the most important part. That's why I kept some work for you as well, because without you working, nothing is going to happen, right? So yeah, that is why I left some space for you to work as well. Okay. Rovindu, all okay? Rovindu, Wajitma, are you there? You are? All okay? I can't hear you. Habib? Yeah, Attas? Imna, you are the newcomer. Imna, you came today, right? Imna? Is it? I don't know. I don't remember. Today only, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay, okay. How is it going? All okay? You
Yes,
have any
sir, all
questions?
okay.
No? All right.
No, sir.
All right. Sanila, Sajan, I know you are doing well. Shamal, yeah. Tihan, yes. Vetum, you are calling me. No problem. Yeah, I know you are doing well. Tihan, you were silent for the past few weeks, huh? That's very bad. You okay? You following closely? Yeah. I think we need a new signal post, like the signal pole near Hantana. Yeah. You know, there's no enough signal in Hantana, right? You said Hantana, no? Is it? Hantana mountain range. It's one of the main protective, like, you know, when it comes to Kandyan Kingdom, we'll discuss that. One of the main mountain range, you know, that protected the Kandyan Kingdom. Yeah. Hantana mountain range. Tihan, I think you have a connection problem, Buddha. I couldn't hear anything. Shara, you okay? Wafa? Yeah.
Yes, okay.
All going well? Okay. Are you guys writing? Okay, Wajid.
Yes, right.
Two guys came and left. Maybe connection problems or what? All right. Ah, it's okay. Yeah, you can hear me, no, Tihan? That's okay. Okay. Can you complete this and send me? Guys, if you have any questions, please ask. Yeah, Puta, Shamal, you have to do everything, okay? All four, okay? I'm receiving a few samples. Actually, the first ones, yeah, they look very good. It's okay. Yeah. In the revision class, we'll be doing more activities like this, okay? Like writing answers and discussing them. For the first 1.5 hours, we'll be doing that. And from 7 to 8, we'll be discussing theory, okay? So, yes, very good. Very good. Kamal, good job. Keep doing. Anyone else want to share the screen, like the photos? I mean, whatever you have written. No need to write everything and share. It's okay. Yeah, Puta, I need the Rovindo, good job. I need the year here, okay? Land Act of 1840 or Barren Land Act of 1840. Both are okay, right?
Okay, sir.
You have to put the year here because you know it might be a very critical mark, okay? If they are giving you 3 marks, 1 mark will be given to that act, and you know it's not complete without the year, no? Yeah, that's how it is. You know, that's how the marking scheme works, okay? Let's not talk about coffee plantation and everything. Here, let's talk about the Barren Land Act, Puta. Okay, that is the most important point here, okay? Got it? Yeah. So let's not talk about coffee plantation, everything. Let's talk about the, you know, let's come to the point here, okay? Because of the Barren Land Act, people who could not prove the ownership of their lands, you know, like lands owned by people who could not prove ownership were seized by the government. Okay, that is how you should put the sentence, okay? Lands owned by people who couldn't prove their ownership were confiscated. You can use those words: confiscated, seized, taken over. All those words are same by the government, okay? So there were no legal documents. No, people didn't have legal documents. The lands were actually coming from generations, like descent, father to son, like that. Okay, that's the problem. All right. Okay. So we are actually taking a few minutes extra today because we have to slightly touch upon some past paper questions as well. Okay. All right. So let's continue. I'm receiving some good answers. Yes, I will give you feedback. So continue sending them to me. Okay. Yeah, I will reply when I have free time. All right. Then this one also you can write, guys. New tax policy of the government. See, I have given you 2 clues. Governor Lord Torrington decided to impose new taxes in 1848. Some taxes were shop tax, cart and catamaran tax, gun tax, shop. Again, I have written shop tax here, right? Printing mistake and typing mistake. Dog tax, right? So yeah, I could have put body tax here. I think I forgot that. Yeah, body tax. So those type of taxes, so you can put them into some sentence and write it. Okay. Puta, now when they are coming from generations, normally it's how it is, like the boundaries. Most of those lands are basically facing jungles. Then you don't need to like even have boundaries, right? That is how they used to mark boundaries those days, or otana ගල් වැටියෙන් එහා පැත්තේ ඔය කුඹුරේ අන්ඩියර පටන් ගන්න තැන. එතන ඉඳන් ඔන්න ඔය එහා පැත්තේ දියුල් ගහයින් එපිට මායිමේ කැකුණ පඳුර තියෙන තැන. එහෙම තමයි ඉස්සර කිව්වේ. right? ඒ වෙනකන් මගේ එතනින් එහාට කාගේද? yeah. That's how they used to mark boundaries those days. No documents, nothing, everything came from generations and they remembered. Okay, right? Okay, guys, let's go on to the last part of the lesson then. Nature of the Battle of Independence. Now, the 1818 battle for independence is also called the Matale battle. Matale Karalla. Araka Vellassa Karalla. Okay, Uwa Vellassa Karalla in 1818. Uwa Vellassa rebellion or Uwa Vellassa battle. This is also called the Matale battle. This one, 1848, because Matale was the center of the battle. Okay. So after imposing these taxes, which put a big burden on people, okay, people started gathering in major cities and started protesting against the government. Right? Like what cities? Like Colombo, Gaul, Badulla, Kandy, those cities. Right? People gathered in those cities and protested against the government. Later now, leaders emerged from the people to give leadership to the battle. The main leader who gave leadership to this battle was Gongale Godabanda. Remember very well, huh? Gongale Godabanda. Okay, he is the main leader of this battle. Okay, then Veera Purannappu, we call him Purannappu, but we sometimes call him Veera Purannappu, right? Veera Purannappu. Why? Because he is considered today a national hero, right? He actually led the battle when it comes to the military side of it, the armed battle. Okay, he was like the general of the rebel army. Okay, Veera Purannappu, right? Yeah, Veera Handige Francis, so Francisco. Yeah, he was later named Veera Purannappu. Purannappu, you can just tell like that as well. And Dingiral, some of the rebel leaders. Okay, there were other leaders as well. Like remember 3 is enough. Okay, just remember 3. That's more than enough. There's another name, DS. Yeah, you can remember that if it is easy for you to remember. Okay, DS. So Matale, like I said, was the center of the battle. That is why it's called Matale battle, right? Then the battle started spreading into other areas like Variyapola, Kurunagala, those areas, in some areas in Kandy as well, right? Now the English army is battle hard, right? Like I told you at the beginning, for our army, like to win the battle in 2009 against the LTT, nothing happened overnight. Like the army used the previous experience, okay, ups and downs, successes and failures in order to suppress the LTT. Okay, so I'm not comparing, right? I'm not comparing here. Don't take it as a comparison between the LTT and rebels. No, they're different. Okay, I'm just telling an example. Okay, so the British army also used their experience that was gained by 1818 and also their knowledge of the roads and everything. So it was actually easy for them, relatively easy. It was easier than 1818 to suppress the battle in 1848. Okay, so they suppressed the battle in about 2 months, right? They arrested Purannappu. Purannappu was executed. Okay, and also Kadahapolathero, Reverend Kadahapolathero, who was a prominent monk at that time who supported the rebellion, was also killed without a proper trial taking place. Okay, without proper court proceedings, he was shot dead, right? And also Purannappu also faced the death penalty bravely, like Kapetipola did. Okay, Gongala Godabanda was exiled, and yeah, like we know that Gongala Godabanda was the leader of the battle. So normally the highest leader is not basically killed, because the British were scared that people might be so disappointed and angry at the government, right? So these are some of the reasons for the failure of 1848 battle. It was also a failure. Actually, again, the disorganized nature of the battle, and one of the main reason is 1848, 1818, the rebels were kind of there were rebels with proper training, the military experience, who took part in battles before. Now, when it came to 1848, the rebels actually didn't have any previous experience, because it was long time, right? Like 30 years between 1818 and 1840. So the rebels didn't have proper military training. So, that was one of the reasons to the failure. So rebels without having proper military training, fighting with an organized, trained army is always difficult. Okay, that you need to understand. So that is why the British Army won this battle. Okay, and they also had a very good knowledge about the hill country roads. They were also supported by some of the people, some of the government officers who were locals, who were also Sri Lankans. And the battle didn't spread to a big area in 1848, like in Uvavelas area. It was spread only in several places, like isolated, no connection between Kurunegala and Kandy battles, right? So different places, different battles, like that. So it was easy for the British to control the situation. Okay, let's talk about the aftermath. That means what happened after the battle. Okay, now after 1818, the British, let's say, the Colebrook reforms came. Okay, after 1797, after that battle took place, Murren Commission was appointed Murren Commission was appointed to look into the reasons. Same like that, after 1848 battle, the British launched an investigation. Why did this battle take place? Could this have been avoided, or did anything wrong happen from their side? Okay, so as a result, they appointed a special committee to look into the matters. So the committee found that Lord Torrington, or Governor Torrington, did not act like a governor, or did not act properly. This could have been avoided, and his policies were very cruel or rude. That is why people took up arms against the British government. Okay, so his conduct was basically the way he behaved, the way he introduced taxes, the way he behaved in suppressing the battle. Everything was not acceptable to the British government. So he was recalled to England. Okay, his governor position was cancelled, and he was recalled back to England, right? And some taxes, like dog tax and the shop tax, were cancelled. Some taxes were reduced, okay, or reformed. Reduce means bringing down, reform means change, right? And also more attention was paid to Buddhism. As we all know, we'll learn in the next lesson about how the missionary organization went about spreading religion and everything. So, but the British decided to give some attention to Buddhism as well. So because of that, there was no other armed battle that happened after 1848. It was all political battles that happened after 1848 between the Sri Lankans and the British government. Okay. The next lesson is about that, actually. So it's about the national renaissance, how people from three communities, Sinhala, Tamil, and Muslim, came forward and organized themselves and fought basically for freedom and fought for independence. Okay, so we're going to talk about those things in our next lesson. Hopefully we can finish that lesson next week. All right, so I told you I will be taking a few minutes extra today to discuss past papers. Okay, all right, guys, you guys have past papers, right? Yeah, you want me to share them? Let me know. Okay, let's do a few questions from this unit. Yeah.
So that's a special committee. Are there any names for it?
No mention about it. No commission. like not Colebrook Commission or Muran Commission. Okay. Actually, Colebrook
Okay, sir.
Commission was not appointed to look into the matters of 1818 battle. Okay. Colebrook Commission was appointed mainly to take care of the economy of the country, because the expenses of the government was higher than the income of the government. That is why Colebrook Commission was appointed. Okay. Right. Not as a result of the 1818 battle for freedom. You want a screenshot? You have this tute, no, Buddha? I shared it, right, in the group. Rovindu, confirm you have this tute? Some of you have taken the printouts also.
I have, sir.
Okay. The Google account is almost ready. The drive, I will be sharing the link in a couple of days. Okay. Yeah, I'm uploading all the sessions that I have done already, like these sessions, you know. Last week's session is also uploaded. Like this week's session will be uploaded next week, right? Okay. Go to 2019 MCQ number 29. It's from this unit. 29. MCQ 29. You want me to share it? Any questions, please ask. Okay. Can you see this? The screen? Yeah, we'll be doing a few MCQs like this. Okay. Written question, actually we did one, and the rest will cover in our revision class. Okay. You guys, yes, you guys can answer the written questions. Okay. On your own, no problem. Just send them to me for corrections and for feedback. Okay. Right. That is why, we actually stopped recruiting this for this class, because I want only 15 students in this class, right? So we'll be soon stopping recruiting for this class, because I can focus on each and every one of you, right? Yeah. Anybody found the answer to this? Can you see the screen?
Yeah, sir.
Can see.
Out of the following statements, what is the answer which includes the statement related to Governor Frederick North? There you go. You have to establish a connection between Frederick North and these statements. Okay.
The second one.
Anyone else? Any other answers? Everybody okay with the second one, or do you have different answers? Second one on chat. Second. Any different answers? All right. So getting the assistant of a civil servant, John Doyle. Yes, good. Well done. Yeah. 27. You said. Page number 27. Let me check, cross check. Yes. Yes. 27 and 28. Yeah. Right. So, the first one. Which one? One second, I'm replying the chats. Give me a second. Yeah, so John Doyle actually was hired by Thomas Maitland, who was appointed in 1805. Okay, So this is after Frederick North. Frederick North was the first governor, official governor, right, to Sri Lanka, who was basically appointed in 1798 for dual control. Okay. So this happened in 1805 under Thomas Maitland. Proclaiming Prince Muthuswami as the King of Kandy, yes, this happened in 1803 after the British briefly captured Kandy, briefly for a short period of time. This happened there. Invading Kandy under the leadership of General MacDowell, again 1803, happened under Frederick North. Okay. Abolishing the right of the throne of Udarata, which, yeah, this happened in 1815. Okay, under Robert Brownrigg. Okay, right. I mean, abolishing the right of the throne of Udarata, which the king has relatives had. Yeah, that means cancelling. That happened in 1815 after the signing of basically the Upcountry Treaty. Okay, right. So the answer is number 2, B and C. Got it? Everybody got it, I hope. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to 2016. Very easy, right? 2016, let me share the screen. This is very easy. Yeah. 29. Question number 29.
Sir, the third one, John Doyley.
John Doyley. Yeah, you sure? Any other answers? Please let me know. Number 3. Good. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to 2017 now. You can see that it's very clear that there will be definitely 1 or 2 questions from this unit. Okay. Over here, 26 and 27. Right? 26 and 27. Let's do that now.
So the second one, BCF.
Okay. 27.
The first one, ADE.
ADE, sir.
Yes, exactly. This is what exactly we discussed today, right? Yeah. Isn't it? So if you are listening to
Yes, sir.
lesson today very well, it's easy. Obviously, you can easily find out the answer even if you don't know about these things before, right? Okay. Yeah, this is from National Renaissance. We'll be discussing next week, right? Let's see another question or two. 2018. You have to find this. You know, whenever we complete a lesson like this, guys. Now today we have completed lesson number 2. You have to go and dig deep into your past papers. You know, there are only 5 of them, and do all the questions related to that unit. Okay, that is how you study well. So now you are ready for another question from this unit. Basically, you know what to expect, right? So you are ready. You have practiced. Okay. Yeah. 22 and 23. 22 and 23. Yeah. '22 and '23, 2018.
So
Can you
have
see?
to share the screen.
I'm doing it now. 2018. Just check it out. I'm gonna
And
stop.
now okay.
Okay. Maybe a network problem. So you have to basically do all the questions related to the unit that we just discussed. Okay, that is how you study. Okay.
So the second one, A and D for the 22nd one.
1 second. 20 seconds. Give me a second. I will discuss this. Yeah. You can put the answers on a chat. Okay. Just send me through chat. Yeah. No problem. You can keep the chat open, everyone. Okay. There's no shame in committing one or two mistakes. You don't need to be ashamed of anything, right? Just put it up to see. Or you can send it to me personally. No problem. Just put like 22 which answer and 23 which answer. Okay. Both. Good, Sajan. Wafa 23. Try. Shara, good. Govindu? I didn't get it. Tihan and Vetu? Shamal? Shamal, did you send me? Attas? Yeah, correct. All right, let's discuss this. I believe most of you got it right. So, what is the answer that contains the causes for the revolt in the maritime provinces against the English trade company in 1797? What is the reason for the revolt in 1797? Imposing of new taxes. Yeah, one of the main reasons was imposing of the coconut tax. If you have more than 10 coconut trees, you have to pay a tax. Yes. And then collecting taxes by local officers. No, they introduced Madras officers called collectors and Aumildars to collect taxes. This is not a reason. Changing the post of aristocratic leaders. No, that never happened. That happened in 1818. Ordering to pay the taxes in cash. Yes, that happened. They were not considering the harvest like in the Dutch period. Okay. Re-establishment of the Dutch court system. That is not a reason. Okay. So this, yes, A and D. what is the answer which contains the proposal of Muran Commission? After the battle, they appointed a commission headed by General Muran. I think he was a general, yeah. So General Muran, decided that collecting taxes by local officers should resume. Okay, Madras officers like collectors and amildars should be sent, and then local officers should start collecting taxes. Yes, that is one proposal. And also this one, he proposed this re-establish on the Dutch court system like the Raad by Justitie, like the High Court, Civil Raad, like the Civil Court, right? Land Raad, like the Land Court. Those courts must be, brought back, like, because they were very successful. This is some of the, these are some of the recommendations of the Muran Commission. Okay, so the answer is B and E. Do we have B and E? Yeah. Yes, number 4. Got it?
Excuse me, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So before the establishment of Dutch court system, they had their own court system. Wasn't it successful?
What do you mean? Yeah. No, actually, before the Dutch court system was established, the Portuguese controlled these areas, right? There was no proper court system. Okay. But there were village courts. Those things are functioning, actually. But not to a proper extent, like not very organized. But the Dutch introduced this proper organized court system with a proper law, like the High Court, where criminal cases are heard, the Civil Court, the cases related to small, money matters, and also like the cases related to divorce were heard in those civil courts. Land courts, the cases related to land were heard, right? Then there were small other courts as well, like the fiscal and everything. So that's a properly organized court system. So when the British came, they cancelled it. They wanted to do it in their own way, and then this riots happened. The revolt happened in 1797. People didn't like that. So then they realized that people are used to this system. It's a good system. It was going well. Now let's bring it back. That was the recommendation of Muran. Got it?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions, guys? So we are gonna say bye for today, and I'll see you on Sunday, most probably. Yeah, you guys are gonna come on Sunday. Some of you will come tomorrow for a map marking session, and next week we are gonna finish unit number 3. Okay, I made the tute. I'll be sharing it with you, like some bits and bytes to be corrected. I will share it with you soon. Okay, right? Any other questions from this unit? Explain the D again. Which one, Buddha? This one? You said this one? Okay, yeah. Ordering to pay taxes in cash. Now, when the British government came to power in the coastal areas, we know that they came to power in 1796. Okay, they immediately replaced the local officers under the Dutch government who were collecting taxes with collectors and amildars. Now, when collecting taxes during the Dutch time, there were kind of a flexibilities. Why? Because the Dutch were ruling the country for more than 100 years. So they had established some kind of a relationship, understanding with people. So they used to collect taxes by harvest, or by considering the nature of the harvest. Okay, you can pay either by money, or you can pay either with your harvest, the tax, right? Or you can, if your harvest is not good, you can wait for some time and pay, right? Considering the nature of the harvest. Now, if your harvest is like, let's say your harvest is like cinnamon, for example. Now the Dutch can easily sell cinnamon and make money, right? So the Dutch accepted cinnamon as tax. Okay. But the British said, no cinnamon, no harvest, nothing, money, only money, right? Then people were desperate. Sometimes some people didn't have proper harvest. You can't make money. You can't sell rice and make money. They only cultivated rice. So they had to sell their rice and make money and come and pay their tax. That was a big burden, you know. It's not easy to make, you know, everybody have rice, right? In our country was self-sufficient back then. Not like today, we are importing, you know, some bowls of today. It's not like that those days. We were self-sufficient. You know, we produce our own rice. So let's say you are producing your own thing, you can't go and sell it. You know, can you sell ice to Eskimos? Eskimos are living in the ice. They already have ice. You can't go and sell them ice, right? Yeah. So like that, okay, it's very difficult to make money out of some crops. So people were struggling, you know, finding money. Money was used very rarely those days. You know, most of the time it was all, you know, the what do you call it? You know, the exchange of goods method, right? It was all mostly exchange of goods, the barter system. Got it? But I hope that answered your question. Any other questions, guys?
No, sir.
I will see you guys next week then. Okay, stay safe. God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
God bless you, sir.
Okay,
See you. Bye.
God
Thank
bless.
you, sir. God
Bye.
bless.
Good night. Bye.
Good night, sir.